I just can't believe that he could fool me. His affair started 6 months ago. I could trace it 6 months back anyway. It could have been longer. There were no signs, no indications, no change of behavior, no change in the bedroom. I just found out by accident 3 weeks ago when his phone was on the nightstand. My husband was sleeping with my high school bully. I grew up in a small town, and this woman bullied me severely in middle and high school. After graduation, I did everything to find a job in a bigger city and moved, leaving all the hurtful memories. I worked hard for a year, found an apartment, bought a car, and later started college. That's where I met my husband. We got married 2 years ago. I'm 8 weeks pregnant. He doesn't know yet. I will tell him eventually, don't worry. When I was in college, my bully reached out to me after we bumped into each other in a party. She was new in town and was glad she saw a familiar face. She never acknowledged what she did, and I never confronted her. I didn't want to open old wounds, however. I wasn't going to befriend her, so I just rebuffed any attempt of reconnecting. She still moved in the same crowd as my husband and me. I never told my husband anything about her or our past. I wasn't even sure he knew her by name. 3 weeks ago, when my husband was in the shower, he got a notification on Messenger. I thought it was odd, since he's not been active on Facebook or Messenger in ages. We know each other's codes, so I looked and there was her name and pictures telling him she missed his deke. I scrolled a few messages back and there was a full conversation. I felt sick and my eyes went blurry, so I just left the phone back where it was and acted like nothing. Over the next 2 weeks, I looked in his phone whenever I could. I found out that my husband deleted Messenger when he didn't use it except for the time he forgot. I started doing the same. Whenever he's sleeping, playing games, or out for a run, I took his phone and installed Messenger. I could trace back their relationship 6 months. They've been sleeping together for 4. A lot of graphic description of what they want to do or have done to each other, but also a lot about me, although it was often one-sided. It's always my bully asking questions and trying to get answers about me, and my husband either reluctantly answering or outright telling her not to talk about me. But they've discussed my sex life, and apparently I'm vanilla. To her constant questions about if he preferred me better, he answered that it's different, and he doesn't want to compare. Discussions about me often ended in him getting irritated and stop answering for days. I have never cried my whole life combined compared to these last few weeks. I want to leave my husband, but I don't want to tell him why. I don't want to give him or my bully the satisfaction of knowing that they hurt me. I just want to ask for divorce and just tell him that I wasn't in love with him anymore and that I'm not happy in our marriage. It won't be lying, technically, because he's not the man I loved and I'm not happy in our marriage. I haven't told anyone what I've found out, but I've told my mom that I want to leave my husband and stated the reasons above. She went berserk. This is so out of the blue and moronic, and the first question she asked was whether I was cheating on him or not. This was a preview to what probably everyone else will think and say, but honestly, I would rather live with being the perpetrator than the victim this time. I just can't let that bee hurt me again, watch me suffer and enjoy it. I just can't. I know I'm being irrational right now, but please put yourself in my shoes and tell me what you would do in my stead. I shouldn't have deleted my throwaway before writing an update with what I have decided to do. Thank you all for the support. I have read all of your replies, and I have had them in consideration when making my decision on how to deal with my failed marriage. Here's some points before the update. Many said I needed a lawyer. I don't know about that. We don't have assets more than a joint account for monthly expenses and a joint saving account where both of us can do whatever withdrawals. I have already transferred my contribution to my private account. I'm not trying to protect my husband's and his AP or their reputation. I just don't want to give her the satisfaction of knowing how much they've hurt me. I have read all of your comments and the majority thinks I have the wrong approach. I have decided to follow my guts about terminating my pregnancy. I'm pro-choice, of course, and I've chosen my baby even before I knew I was pregnant. I can't get rid of it only because I don't want to be with its father anymore. Me and my brothers are children to divorced parents, and we turned out decent enough. About my bully being the stepmom, the chance is slim and not good enough to convince me to get rid of my baby. I already love it more than anything in the world. I have broken the news to my husband that I'm leaving him. I had already talked to my friends about it, and being unhappy in my marriage seemed good enough reason for them to support me. One of them offered me her place until I find my own. I got really emotional and hugged her and cried because that meant that I could leave my husband's apartment now. He was shocked when I told him. I don't think he took me seriously at first, but he asked me if he did something wrong. I told him that I'm simply not happy with him, and I think I'm still too young to waste my life in an unhappy marriage. He said he had noticed me being distant this past month, but never would he have guessed I was unhappy with him. He begged me to tell him what's wrong, because this can't be it. He believed me, however, when my friend came to take me with her. This was Thursday. He has been calling multiple times a day, but I haven't answered. He showed up this morning to my friend's house and begged me to have breakfast with him. I agreed. He looked like he hasn't slept or shaved since I asked for divorce. I told him that I was pregnant and that I'm keeping it, but he didn't have to be a part of its life if he didn't want to. His phone was on the table, and he got a notification from Messenger. So he had forgotten to delete the app before meeting me. When I saw her name, I told him, "Oh, is that her name? You know, she used to bully me in school back when we both lived in town." He froze. "Oh, haven't I told you about her?" I told him everything she did and how it affected me, how she never apologized about anything. He was silent the whole time and just looked at me. I ended it with, "Be careful with her. I don't think she's changed much, to tell you the truth." He grabbed my arm and just watched my face like he wanted to see if I knew something. My plan is to buy a small apartment because that's all I can afford right now. A one-bedroom is enough until I have my baby, and it's old enough to need its own room. I can upgrade later when I've saved more. I'm not leaving this city. I've spent my best years here and have the greatest memories. I have my friends around me, and hopefully they will still be supporting me when the divorce is a fact. I have already filed for divorce, but he's probably going to ask for thinking period. I'm not in a hurry though. Everything will get better. For now, I want to cry, try to get over him and heal and be there for my baby.